Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. You have just enough time to look around and recognize that you're in your own room. Before you realize it, you're paralyzed. As you're struggling to move, you slowly become aware of a sickening sound from the corner of the room. It sounds a little like heavy breathing. You tell yourself it's nothing, but it gets louder and louder. And suddenly, a dark shadow appears by your bedside. You don't believe in monsters or ghosts, but you can't deny that you can see and feel something climbing on top of you, making it hard to breathe. And you still can't move to fight. You can't even call for help. By now, you're hoping this story is a work of fiction, but it's terrifyingly true. Of course, we're not saying monsters exist, but this is an experience that sufferers of sleep paralysis know all too well. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Snooze Insider and click on the bell icon to get notified for our latest videos. Information on everything we've talked about will be in the description below. Anyone who's experienced sleep paralysis will tell you that no matter how scary you think your nightmares are, they're nothing compared to the terror experienced during sleep paralysis. And they're right. Sleep paralysis is very different from your average nightmare. Scientists don't know for sure how many people suffer from this disorder, but it is said that it can be as high as 40% of the world's population. Experts do agree that men and women of any age can experience it. It often appears for the first time in your teen years, and it's more likely to occur if you're not getting enough sleep, if your sleep schedule changes often, if you're stressed, and if you sleep on your back. Historically, sleep paralysis has evoked some vivid descriptions and served as inspiration for very disturbing artworks. That's no surprise. It is a much more vibrant experience to your average nightmare. Sleep paralysis occurs when your brain wakes up while your body is still asleep. This can happen if you fall into REM sleep too suddenly, or if you wake from REM at the wrong moment. During REM sleep, your body becomes paralyzed to prevent you from hurting yourself by acting out your dreams physically. The muscles in your face and throat are also paralyzed during this stage, making you unable to even call for help. It also explains the difficulty breathing, as only your diaphragm is working, while your chest muscles are rendered useless. But even though your eyes are open and you are conscious, a part of your brain is still dreaming. Being paralyzed is scary enough on its own, but when you start to hallucinate as well, this could easily be one of the most terrifying things you could ever experience. Unlike normal nightmares, these hallucinations are much harder to distinguish from reality. Because sufferers typically have their eyes open and aware of their surroundings, it becomes very difficult for them to distinguish if the thing they see standing in front of them is actually there or not. Sleep paralysis can cause hallucinations that affect all of your senses, although not all people experience all types of sensory hallucinations. Some of these hallucinations make the experience even more real. You can be lying in bed, paralyzed, and looking at a monster that is standing right in front of you. You might just be able to convince yourself that it's not there if you're just looking at it, but if you feel it touch you, then it becomes horrifyingly real. These tactile hallucinations are very common among people who've experienced sleep paralysis. People often say they feel sensations of numbness, tingling, flying, or falling on the lighter side of hallucinations. More common, and much more terrifying, is the feeling that someone is lying on top of you or holding you down. You might even feel like you're freezing or have bugs crawling all over you. You could feel like someone's breathing on your neck, or even the sensation that you're being physically dragged out of your bed. Sometimes, of course, you only have the physical hallucination, but other times, you can also see the demon or person doing these things to you. You might even be able to smell them too. Now, try convincing yourself it isn't real. Of course, these are just hallucinations, and it's not actually real. Sleep paralysis is physically harmless. There has not been a single reported case of anyone dying or being physically harmed by this phenomenon. However, if you've ever been through it, you'll know that even though it can't hurt you, it doesn't do anything to make it less terrifying. Have you ever had a sleep paralysis demon in your room? Tell us what it did in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so we can continue making them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the bell notification. Share this with a friend if you think they may need a little wake-up call. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Until then, sleep well.